with your cute little headphones.
Yep, I can hear you.
It's exciting. I have a Zoom box too.
Yeah, you have a Zoom?
Mine has 4 holes. More holes.
You're so disgusting.
I know.
The way you said that.
Mine has 4 holes.
Hello, everybody, and
You have 4
welcome
holes?
to Unbothered by Ty Rivera. As always, we come to you from high atop Ty Rivera Studios, a.k.a. Casa de Viju. Our guest today is the one and only Miss Eleanor J. Kerrigan. She just found a hair on the tip of her microphone.
I don't know if it came out of my teeth or yours, Ty, but I'm excited about it.
You know what the worst part is?
You're not sure either.
I don't know where it came from. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. But the worst part is I actually made sure that I tidied up my place.
For me?
Yeah, of course.
Please. I would have cleaned it for you.
And then there's a hair on the end of the microphone. Like, how do you forget to make sure the microphone looks... All right.
Well, it could have been one of mine. I don't know.
I quit my own podcast. This is my 2
I'm
weeks.
excited about your podcast because you're always unbothered and I'm always bothered.
I know you're bothered.
I am so bothered by people and that pubic hair and everything. No, I'm kidding.
I want to ask you the first question I know everybody asks you, and I know the answer to it.
Yes, I swallow. What? Come on. Hi.
Not that question again, Eleanor.
Okay, everyone knows that one.
In private. We've discussed that in private.
Was this a PG?
Of course. Could you imagine me having a PG podcast? It's like, Eleanor, do not
That's
say
me. I'm
that
always
word.
the person that's like, oh, Buck. Oh, we're not allowed to curse. Like I got yelled at like by Dice on a show for cursing. And I was like, really?
By
Jerk
Dice?
off?
Yeah.
I forget what we were doing. I want to say it was Artie Lang's. And he was on like a regular station at the time.
Oh, okay. Then that
and I,
makes
of course, said I dropped an F-bomb and he freaked out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Artie just ran with it like, that's the best, getting yelled at by Dice for cursing.
So they just beeped you out and then you guys kept it going?
Yeah, they beeped it, but it was like, and then I didn't realize it was that. So the whole time I was nervous, like, oh no, don't talk, because you don't know how to talk without cursing, you filthy whore. You know what I mean? Like, I was beating myself up, even though I can talk without cursing, I swear.
Yeah, I can too. It's just not my favorite. I hate when I have to think about things, you know.
Right. If you tell me but I guess if I'm not thinking about it, I really just do whatever.
Yeah, and then after that, after you get like a scolding, you're in that mode where you're like, now I'm gonna keep saying something. I don't wanna talk. I'm done.
Yeah. Wait, so what was your question?
I was gonna ask if you were related to Nancy Kerrigan.
Really?
Because
would you like me to throw you out that fucking
I know,
window
that's
right
why
now?
I said I know the answer, because I know everybody asks you, but then I know, like, the same time, the botherinas, as I decided they're called, those are my listeners,
Like me.
the botherinas.
I'm bothered. I'm fucking bothered by that question. I'm fucking pissed right now. I'm sorry.
I started off by bothering you at the beginning of Unbothered.
No, I'm not. I don't know. I will. My dad gets around, so it's possible, and he has a huge family. His mom had, I think, 15 kids, something like that, crazy, something ridiculous, and they're all over.
Jesus Christ, what were you guys, Mexican?
No, Irish.
Okay,
it's worse.
Close enough.
Irish Mexican, double negative.
Yeah.
But we just, so we're everywhere, but I don't know. I know I have a lot of family in New York that I don't know on my dad's side. And they're the Kerrigans. So,
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, my mom's side I know really well, but my parents split up when I was like 8. So it's like we kind of lost contact. And our family, immediate family, was so big that it was like we're not getting involved with these
your own shit,
distant, relatives that may or may not be.
Same with my family. Like, we talk to one side of the family, my mom's side of the family, but then my dad's side, and it's not like a bad thing. It's just like we just don't,
we still
too
talk
big.
to them. We still hang out. Like, my dad's side visits my mom all the time. Like, in the city, they go see my mom all the time, which is great. We love it. And if I'm in their neighborhood, I'll stop by. That's my dad's like immediate family, like his brothers, their kids. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But not any further than that. And I know it goes far because I've met people on the road that are like, oh, you're Charlie Kerrigan's kid. And my dad's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, I'm not playing fucking Irish. Oh, shit, Ty, I broke it.
Eleanor is breaking
It's my big feet
the studio.
that got caught in the fucking cord.
Eleanor hates.
Did I pull your ear
Unbothered.
out?
You did.
I just hate that you're not bothered. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get you saying unbothered makes people believe that you're not bothered, but I know you're bothered. Deep down inside, in your little heart of hearts, your little black beating heart that says Trump right on it is bothered.
You know, I'll tell you right now, I'm annoyed with Trump.
Well, everybody is. She's crazy.
Yeah, she's lost her mind.
I don't know what she's on.
You know, you really can't.
Once they fix her hair, it went really far down.
That's
that.
where I thought that
I got
was
pissed when I saw that.
I thought that was him, like actually.
Trying to soften.
Yes.
Kind of, but I hate that they do that to people. It's like, okay, you're here. Let's change you. What?
Yeah.
Keep that abrupt son of a bitch the way he was.
Yeah, but the problem now is, you know, they're gonna be cracking down on the marijuana again. Which,
Everybody's into. I don't know why they don't see the fucking good in that.
do you?
I believe it. I mean, look what it's done for Colorado. Look what it's done. Why not legalize it?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the good in what was the crackdown, like them trying to crack down. Yeah.
And I don't even smoke marijuana. I've never smoked weed in my life.
Well, the thing with me is I do and I don't. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it's not like I'm not one of those crazy people that's like, you know, all about it. And I'm not, you know, definitely not wearing marijuana on my clothes. Like to the other adults, that's your thing. That. But I'm not that guy. Like,
you wash my hair with marijuana.
And then they'll wear like the marijuana socks, like, you know,
Woody
with the leaves
Harrelson
on them
as
and
a picture
stuff.
Or something.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a grown up. I don't obsess on weed or beer or any of that,
like
you
cotton.
know. Yeah, it's just
just regular old unsmokable cotton. But I get it. It's environmental. I get what they're trying to do. And I do believe like marijuana, it helps fucking people. Of course, there's always going to be people that go to the extreme. There's always assholes in every group. So yeah, there's that person that's not going to make it. Like they're going to get a marijuana card because their toe hurts. Yeah. I get it. Mm-hmm. But then there's real people that get sick from medications of cancer and things like that. And marijuana fucking helps out.
Yeah.
And you know what? Nobody hurts people on marijuana. So who the fuck, if their toe hurts, let them smoke.
Yeah, I'm with. See, that's
less.
why I'm with you, is because there are people that legitimately need it. And it, you know, when they really try to crack down on it, it does make it harder for those people too. And it's just, and I agree with you. It's
Puts
not
money
something
back
that's
in the fucking
and
community.
That's what we need. Yeah, we
So
actually do need.
What is the problem? How do you not look at Colorado and go, oh my God? It's not the super rich state. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
They legalized something and they figured it out. Why isn't everyone following suit? I don't get it.
The one thing I have to say, though, that I was kind of torn on, and I still am, is the transgender bathroom thing, or the young, you know, in the schools.
So, okay, now you have to, here's the thing. Is it just schools? I don't know the rules. I stink at this. Is it just, like, do you need to do that?
I believe no. Because I was just gonna. The only reason I look at my phone during, because I believe that the thing was, it was decided. Obama had decided, like, you know,
the last fight was over like Target or Walmart or something, correct?
Yeah, but
because I'm just saying, pull your pants down and piss in aisle 8 at that point. Do you know what I mean? Even if you have to take a shit,
you're in Walmart
go to the
anyway.
fucking doggy aisle and just shit in a bed. You know what I mean? I don't care. Sorry, guys. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't get nervous. Like we've all been around trans people that we didn't even know.
Always. That's been forever.
You never even know it. And honestly, as a kid, if I wasn't told that I couldn't, I would have probably transitioned somewhere. But
You
I'd be
are
sucking dick with you late at night too. So that's weird that I bring it up like that.
You know,
but you know what I'm
never
saying.
get that though. And I have friends.
Why you switch and then you're still
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I've never gotten that, but I'm going to have my friend Jeffrey J on coming up, and he's a gay trans man.
Gay trans, yes.
So, he
just made it even harder for himself.
Well,
is how I see it.
I have a ridiculous joke about it, because I have 2 gay trans men friends, and I have a joke just where I'm like, I just always feel like you went a long way to get fucked in your ass. You could have done that as a woman, right?
We've all shit on a dick, both genders. It happens.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
I just love that you jump in it. It's so awful.
Well, it gave me a real visual, I mean, like, I'm a gay man, so I've
But yeah, I didn't
experienced.
see what it was. But when I was 7, 8 years old, that's all I wanted to do was switch. I wanted a button so that when I went outside, I could be a boy. And then when I went back in, I could be a girl so I didn't upset my mom. And the only reason is because my mom had 10 kids, as you know, and then, but 4 in a row, boys. And then I came out and I was like,
you're a boy.
The biggest type. You know what I mean? Like, my brothers were like, bitch, you're going to be eating pussy in no time. Like, nobody throws like that. Nobody hits like that. Nobody's that angry. And why are you smoking at 9? Like, it was just all bad. But it was because I ran with them, I didn't know. And my mom would be like, oh, a little girl. And she'd put a dress on me and I'd rip it off or I'd tuck it in my underwear and I'd have my dick out. And
yeah, I was the same except opposite. Like I had my 2 sisters and I was,
Sure, and I think it happens. I mean, I'm straight, I guess. Whatever the word is. Right? We call it. No, I'm just
normal.
Normies.
Try normal.
So accurate. And no, but like I always was attracted to men, but I also wanted to be a man. So I was like, oh, why take that extra step?
You're a fag in a woman's body.
Right? Guys, just ignore that Adam's apple and get in here. Huh? But I think, so my mom was always like, oh, God, all I wanted was a little girl. And she'd just like cry. Did your mom get upset that you were...
Well, when I came out, she went into serious denial at first. So
that you were a boy?
No, about me being gay. See, because the thing was...
when you came out, I thought you went out of her pussy. Oh, boy,
You're
Eleanor.
so
you
ridiculous.
Out.
No, they wanted a boy. They had tried. They wanted a boy, and
that's what they get for pushing.
That's what I always say.
Good.
I'm like, that's right. It happens.
You can't force it.
But I did. I talked about it on Josh Wolf's podcast. I thought that I was gonna, because I was raised like if you didn't like girls, then you must be a girl. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thinking. Like you either like boys or girls. That's what it is. As far as you're supposed to be straight, basically, is the way I was raised.
Okay.
So if you didn't like girls, then you must be a girl or you need to get a sex change. Gay wasn't an option. You know what I mean? Like that was just, and so I thought I had bigger problems than I had when I was younger. I thought, well, I guess I'm meant to be a girl, So for like, I remember being a teenager and kind of imagining my life as a woman, like,
oh my God,
like one day
great.
And so
someday I'll wish upon a star. What?
And then, like, as I grew up, and then we moved out of that small town, and I got to see like what gay was,
Humans.
Then I was like, oh, okay, so this is an option, and then I realized, at a point where I was just like, oh, so I don't even have to, like you said, take that extra step. I don't have to do anything. I can just be me and date men.
Yeah, and I have nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with trans. I don't think there's anything wrong with a trans person, whatever. But I don't understand all the hubbub about the bathroom situation. Bringing it back to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
No. I'm glad we got back to it.
If you do it right, trans. I'm speaking to you now. I'm kidding. If you do it right, nobody's gonna fucking stop you.
Yeah, and we've all seen like burly or masculine looking women that are actual
hell
women.
Yeah, there's some that are so questionable.
Yeah. And you don't question it because they are, so they just go where they go. You know, they go to the women's bathroom.
Yeah.
They don't ask any questions. Like, because I saw a trans person write a blog about, like, I will Google the state that I'm going to and find out what the laws are as far as the trans people using their bathrooms. And I was like, why are you doing that? If you're a woman, you just go to the women's bathroom. You don't ask any questions. You don't look around. You don't look suspicious. You just walk in the bathroom like anybody else that has to walk in a bathroom.
What was that movie? Was it Trans America with Frances McDermott?
That was...
She was terrific.
What's her name? What was her name? Felicity Huffman.
Felicity Huffman. I'm sorry. I always go the other. I confuse those two all the time. I don't know why. Sorry.
Because they're both kind of dykey looking.
Well, they're both... I'm such a nerd. They're both excellent actresses. Mm-hmm. And so they always bring it. And they're always as natural. Like, to me, especially McDermott is more, Huffman's great, but McDermott, like, she don't even give a fuck what she looks like. She's like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And I love that. But the Felicity Huffman, what she did in that movie was exactly what you're saying. No, I'm a woman. So she acted and was a woman, even though she hadn't had her operation, so to speak. So she used the ladies' room. It was never a question.
Yeah.
Who would question it?
And that's the way I see it. And the other thing for me, and I've been trying to tell the trans people, because the trans people on this scene, like the trans comics,
I've met a lot lately. I'm very excited to say.
They think I'm transphobic or I don't like trans people. And it's just,
That's not true.
I don't think they try hard enough, the ones on the scene, you know?
Okay.
And it's like, you're not trying hard enough. I've had trans friends my entire adult life. And the thing is, you do have to be patient with people and explain what it is. You know, if you're going to talk about it, if you're going to consider yourself like an advocate or any kind of voice in that community, then you do have to do a fair amount of education. And education can't just be yelling at people online.
Yes. And it is, you have to, just as much as you want the other side to be patient with you, you have to be patient with them.
That's 100% the way I feel.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I joke in that little thing about that kid with the... that little boy with the tutu, when I was like... For a minute, I really was taken aback. Like, oh, shit. Okay, buddy. Like, he was dressed in a tutu and a really pretty dress. And I was like... And his mom acted calm. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Like, but it did take me back a second because of where I come from and who I come from are older
Yeah, because you were at a
people.
friend's house and they were playing dress up,
Yes,
and the little boy got in a tutu.
Yes, and he has no sisters.
Yeah, so it's
it was
his
confusing
tutu.
for a second.
It's definitely his tutu. They bought it just for him. It wasn't like...
All by yourself, buddy? You know, it was like one thing if you stole from your sisters or whatever. Or I wore my brother's clothes all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can show you pictures that would scare you straight. Okay, maybe not.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, not if you see me in that. But literally people, like my nieces and nephews look at some of the pictures when I was a kid and they always say things like they'll say to their mom or dad, what uncle is that? And they're like, that's Uncle Eleanor. Because she was going through something.
I love that you're Uncle Eleanor. I've heard you be Uncle Eleanor before. Yeah,
Yes.
whereas the picture and you're like...
Yes, I was with my short hair because I cut my ponytail off because I didn't want to be a girl. I had no interest in being a girl.
Uncle Eleanor is back at it again.
There she is, Uncle Eleanor. But it was true. Like my brother Johnny, he can't get enough of it. His kids ask him all the time, what uncle is that? And it's a constant in all the pictures. He's like, well, again, that's Uncle Eleanor. And she has some problems. But it's not problems. It's like, and they didn't make me feel like my brothers were like, oh, she's just one of us, you know? Like that's the thing I loved about my brothers, even though we were in that where it was unacceptable. If I would have maybe went further with it, they maybe would have got weirded out. But at the time, they were like, "Oh, she's just a little dirtball that wants to be a boy." Like, it wasn't like they were gonna push me out of their lives for it, which does happen.
I know,
and that's what I believe what makes them yell and scream about it, because they deal with so much shit from people that are close to them.
Yeah.
That when an outside person comes at them, they're like, "Fuck you. You don't know what I've been through, and you don't know what I've done to get here." And I get that as well. So I think everybody needs to calm the fuck down.
Oh, I'm with you.
Even though I'm bothered by everything, I will calm down. And there's things I'll see and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to fucking comment." And then I'm like, "Hold on a minute, bitch."
Yeah, but see, this, like, when I talk to you,
I do pull back.
This is like you, and I know that you're very free with, like, saying the way you feel about things and stuff like that.
Yes.
But what people, I think, probably wouldn't get from just hearing you or hearing you on a podcast is really you are pretty chill about everything.
Yeah.
You're not, like,
Because
crazy online. Fucking,
No, I can't. I can't get
none
it
of that.
online. I don't fight online, guys. I will fight you in the street. You can meet me outside. Catch me outside, motherfuckers. Catch me outside. But how about that? And that kid, please. We'll get into that horror in a second. But I do. I have anger issues, and I will fight you on the street. But I can't do it online because here's my problem with doing it online. And this is what this is how I kind of semi-educate myself, because I don't know what side I'm on. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I float somewhere in the middle. I'm a very level-headed, middle ground kind of person. And Don Rivera said to me a couple months ago, name dropper, that I'm a middle act dropper. So he said that he was never a follower, but he was also never a leader. So he just kind of did his thing. Mm-hmm. And I liked the way he put that. Like, yeah, I'm not necessarily a leader, but I'm not a follower either. And sometimes I'll see a thing online and I'll be like, "That's fucked up. They shouldn't say that." And then somebody will argue the opposite point. And I'll be like, "Oh, you got a point." And then by the time the end of it, I'm too fucking winded to get involved, because I'm like, I see both sides.
Yeah.
So it's very hard when something has like good points on both sides, unless it's really cutthroat, like something really awful. I could be like, "This guy's an asshole. You need to just stop." But even that Milo guy, okay, I didn't like that they protested him to not speak at, where was it, Berkeley? Yeah,
that was Berkeley.
And the crazy lady that's Betsy DeVos?
Yeah, Betsy DeVos.
The educational. Okay, now I'm an inner city kid. I went to Catholic school because I couldn't go to public school. I have a friend. It's her birthday today. She went to public school 2 days. On the second day, the first day she kept getting lost. It was a little bit of a couple girls were picking on her. Real pretty girl. Like, she was hot when she was like 12, which is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And even my mom goes, "Oh, I feel sorry for her. She's almost sexy." But she was right, because she was a kid and she was like Betty Boop, like beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable. So in the second day, they trapped her. These black guys trapped her in. They didn't realize she's an inner city girl. They just thought she was a transplant, because why would this hot girl be walking through the school? And they trapped her in the gymnasium, and she ran up the bleachers, and we used to break in the school at night just to fuck around. So she knew exactly how to open the thing, and she hung jump out the window. Hung jumped. How do you say that? She would hang jump out the window from the second floor. It was either that or she gets raped in the fucking gym.
Yeah.
So, there's a problem with schools. I don't know if this lady is qualified to fix it or whatever. But so them protesting her and wouldn't let her even in the school. I didn't like that, because it's like, how the fuck is she going to know or get schooled in any way if she's not in there to take questions or to talk to people?
That's
these
where I
town
think
meetings.
everybody's fucking themselves up because the thing is,
Let them come in.
Yeah,
Question
whether or
them,
not
have
you
a fucking debate with them.
and that's the way I
Fucking
feel with
straighten them
Trump.
out.
Yeah, that's the way I feel with Trump. Like, I
Okay,
said,
he's way far gone. That's
no,
a
but I mean,
clear-cut-
like,
No, I'm
with
kidding.
if there was more, like, like this is what we actually want from you. Okay, we hate that you're our president because a lot of people feel that
Got
way.
it.
So I respect you hate that. I respect it.
Same.
But at the same time, he is the president. So let's make sure he knows everything it is that we're trying to say. If you're going to make America great, then cool. I'm going to take you at your word for right now. Make America great. These are the things we are telling you that we need. Because a lot of times they focus on shit that we're not really worried about. When it comes down to it, I, nor the average person, am really that worried about abortion. As far as wanting to, get rid of Roe versus Wade.
Right.
Like, I don't think the average person, I think if you were to actually put it to the people, you would end up finding out that in private, most people are fine with the abortion laws the way they are now.
Yes.
I don't think most people that's a major concern for them. Even the people that because they're religious and kind of want to go with that ideology, even those people I think in private would vote to leave it the same.
Yeah, I almost fought with a kid from my neighborhood, and then he's an Italian immigrant, barely speaks English, which was most of my neighborhood, by the way, all Italians. But he wrote, "Who would be pro-abortion?" And I'm like, I don't know if it's a language barrier, fucker, but that's not what it is. It's not pro-abortion. It's pro-choice. So nobody is, the problem is these people say abortion, 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 and they think we're just going, getting a cup of coffee, sticking a hanger in there, hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what worked. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had an abortion. Thank God, I will say. It's not that I hate kids. It's just that I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I personally don't want to do it. It was a terrible situation I was in, and I didn't want to make it even worse.
Yeah.
So I took my choice, and I did that. I've used Planned Parenthood. They go against Planned Parenthood. I've used Planned Parenthood as a doctor for years. I know I'm terrible, but I couldn't afford. I didn't have good insurance, so I get blood work from them. They check my cholesterol, everything. The only thing I haven't done that I'm supposed to do is get a breast exam, but I figure I'm titless, really. I know, Eleanor. I know.
So ridiculous.
But they are on me. It's not like people are like, oh, they just go to Planned Parenthood and suck out the baby, and they call it the fun vacuum. I think it's a great vacuum, and you should just have pro-choice. I mean, I agree. I think most people are on this side.
Yeah.
But there's always that little group that has the loudest voice.
That's why we need to just not pay
Euthanize
attention
them.
to
Oh.
that group. Not pay attention to that group is the way I feel about it, and work on stuff that we actually care about. Like when it comes
Bigger
to even the
things.
transgender bathroom.
right.
It's like, why is this a thing? Why is it that people can't just go to the bathroom that they're comfortable with? I don't think the average person is trying to get into the bathroom for any sexual type reason or any kind of devious.
Yeah,
It's just
and
like, I just need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I really have to pee.
Yeah, that's
It's
all
gonna
this
come
is
out,
about.
whether
Yeah,
it's going to squirt out of this garden hose or it's going to go right between my feet. It's coming out.
Yeah.
And so I get it, but like some people were like, "Oh, what if it's like?" I can't remember if it was Rogan or somebody, like if it was like Joe Diaz coming in the bathroom in a dress. Like, that's a creep, not Joe. I'm saying like a person that big in like a fucking house gown, a house. What's that called? A house coat?
Yeah.
House dress? My grandma used
Her
to wear
house
them.
dress.
Yeah, wearing her little fucking house dress. You know, coming. I gotta piss, cocksuckers. You know, no, that's uncomfortable.
Hey, cocksucker.
Yeah, I get that's bad. But it wouldn't be like that. Like there's always that little section because somebody was saying, "Oh, well, what if my daughter's in the bathroom and this one?" You know, there's always going to be that fucking animal out there, with or without laws.
Yeah.
So, I think it's stupid that argument part of it.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be arguing about, and that's the other thing I don't get is the arguing all the time. It's like, can't we just talk
Constantly.
like people? Can't, especially since, yes, there are the politicians and there is your political party, but we as citizens are the ones that are really having to deal with all these consequences. So why can't we, between us, no matter what side you're on, just have a regular conversation?
I agree. And it is hard to have a regular conversation because here is a silly argument that I had. Unfortunately, our friend was outnumbered. Like we were not Trump supporters and he was a Trump supporter. And now there was probably 4 Trump supporters and 1 Trump guy. So the argument escalated a little bit. And the reason it escalated, I think, and the 4 non-Trump supporters weren't Hillary supporters either. Maybe one of them was.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them was. The other 3 of us were like, no. Because I don't like Hillary or Trump. So,
Yeah, well, I wasn't a Hillary fan.
yeah, I'm not a big Hillary fan. I think she's bullshit. I think her husband's bullshit. It's just the whole... But me, I think politicians are bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're all going to lie to you. They're never going to try to make you better for you. That's why I find it funny when a regular person, Trump's for us. He's one of the people. No, he's not. He's never been one of the people.
Yeah, that's not a mistake I ever made.
No.
I never thought he was.
And these are people I
one of
grew up
us.
with that I'm like, honey, he doesn't even drive through our neighborhood. And you know that. And we live near the airport. So he goes the other way. There's no fucking way. Like it just, that part of it makes me silly. And, but the argument we were having was that he was saying that they need to respect the president and the presidency, the office, right? And I get what he was saying because again, my level-ish head gets to the point of, okay, he's right. We need to, the people that are against Trump need to calm down and just figure out, like you said, to let them know what's going on that's wrong. Problem is, Trump doesn't respect it and shits on everything, especially like Obama. Was I a big Obama fan? No. Why? Because he didn't affect my life, really.
Yeah.
Technically, he didn't affect my life. I'm poor. I don't make a lot of money, so I don't live in their world. They live in a different world than we live in. What they're fighting for and what they know about are things I've never even fucking heard of. So I get it, but Trump constantly shits on him. Every fucking time every chance he gets, he shits on him. I was left with a mess. Obama did this. Obamacare doesn't. Okay, motherfucker, he's out. You're in. Now what?
Yeah.
That's all we were trying to say. And the problem is he was by himself and it turned into a cackle. And I felt bad for him. And then it was
nothing
weird.
worse than a
Again, we all got yelled at by Dice. I'm not saying that the Trump fans are cacklers, but they get there. They get there.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds like a fucking batch of birds. I'm like, bitch.
I love a cackle. I hate it and I love it at the same time.
Fuck.
It's so funny.
But I heard it and I thought, Eleanor, you're part of a cackle right now.
You're a cackler.
Don't fucking cackle with these hoes.
Yeah, you can't be cackling. No cackling allowed.
Fuck. And I did feel bad, but at the same time, that person, our friend, the Trump supporter, he was arguing his point, and I don't hate him because he voted for Trump. I don't care who he voted for. I think every individuals. I believe in that.
Me too.
Most people I don't fucking like, but
Yeah.
because they will disappoint you. But there are some cool people out there, and I don't give a fuck what their political views are.
Me neither. That's where people get mad at me because it's just, and it's like, why do you want me to take a side so bad? Why do you want me to be part of the problem? Like, I have the way that I voted, and I've given my reasons before, and I'm open to telling people when they do ask about it. But at this point, I don't feel like that's the most productive because we are where we are.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when you want to run back through, okay, why did you originally vote? I can tell you all that, but at the same time, what does that matter for right now?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't we be working on where we're actually trying to go?
Here.
Yeah.
We live in this neighborhood.
Because we are where we are,
Right.
whether, and I'm also with you on the, when people argue too much about politics, I always feel like you do realize they all have dinner together, they hang out together.
Yes.
It's like pro wrestling.
Same shit.
Yeah,
Same shit.
They're fighting on as far as we see, but in private,
Yeah,
they're very
they're just-
civil with each other.
They're not allowed to be seen, just like wrestlers, because I used to be one. I one time was at an event, and one of the girls that I had a big rival with was in line, and I went over to hug her, and she goes, "You can't do that easy. We're in public." And I was like, "Oh my God. One, you called me easy, and we're not in the ring. And two, what the fuck?
What was your wrestling name? You were
Easy Rider."
You were Easy Rider.
Naturally. If you look at me and you think, what would her wrestling name be? Easy Rider. She's easy. She rides.
She rides. It's a no-brainer. She's Easy Rider.
But yeah, she was pissed. And we were at a big wrestling event at the Staples Center.
Who'd you wrestle for?
I wrestled for WOW Women of Wrestling.
Okay.
It's a really fun thing. It was great. It was 16 years ago.
Uh-huh.
The guy who did it was David McLean. He owns that organization.
Mm-hmm.
He also did Glow in the early 90s.
That's what I was going to ask you about Glow, if it was
I know.
similar.
It's the same guy, but he sold his rights to it, and now they're making the Netflix movie. I really tried hard to get in on it. It did not happen. I was very upset.
They're making a WoW movie or a WoW documentary?
A Glow.
Oh,
It's
Glow.
not a documentary. It's an actual... it's two women, and it's really funny. And it's going to be on Netflix. Mark Maron is playing one of the managers. I forget the young girl that they got as the lead, but it is one of the funniest scripts I read in a long time.
When does it? Do you know when it's?
It comes out. I know they wrapped like a month or 2 months ago, so I don't know exactly when it comes out, but it's going to be fucking funny.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
strong, and I hope it does well, and I hope that they'd let. The thing is that this is what I heard. The two people that I was trying to get in through is that they're trying to stay away from the professionals to train them, like to do it the right way, to make it look sloppier.
Okay.
Because it's about the beginning of it. And then training the girls. You know what I mean? So they want them to go through the natural progression, I believe. Now, I did the natural progression 16 years ago, but I would have loved to even not have been one of the wrestlers, just to be something else. Fuck, I would have been an extra in it. It was one of those. That's how well it was.
Because you moved here originally to be an actress?
Of course.
Yeah.
I was going to be Meryl Streep, but that bitch took
And
everything.
So were you trained, like when you were...
Trained, I was a theater major at Temple University.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came out here. I studied Joanne Baron. I studied with Playhouse West for years with Jeff Goldblum and Robert Carnegie. And that's all I do. I can cry on cue. Sad, but yeah, true.
Yeah, I didn't know you could cry on
Oh my God,
cue.
I'm so... That's every time. This is the thing. My best friend was Freddie Soto, who passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked at the Comedy Store day in and day out. When I first moved here in 93, Freddie was still a door guy. And then he eventually got passed and started moving on and doing bigger things. But he still was, when we're in town, you do spots at the store, the Laugh Factory, whatever.
You never stopped being a comic.
You never stopped being a comic. So I was always the waitress, and then if Freddie was doing a spot or something, I can remember sitting at a laundromat with him and being like, "This isn't real. I don't know what you're doing." Just shitting on the entire craft because I was a cranky waitress that was like trying to become
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. And so I would, hang out with him and shit on his craft, and he'd watch me in a play and be like, "Why are you getting raped every fucking play? Or your child was just taken and executed in front of you. What is happening?" But that's what it was. I was always in these like ridiculously sad plays, and he'd come see him and go, "You're funny. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You don't understand it. Just go tell your jokes during the spin cycle, you piece of shit. we'd fight constantly. And I'd sit there and just keep going to these auditions and keep doing this fucking... And 12 years I was waiting tables at the store. Fucking 12 years went by. Just like that.
When did you stop waiting tables at the store?
2005.
See, because that's what I remember. I remember when I first got to the Comedy Store in 2003.
Okay.
I remember you were one of the few people there, and Chris Storin remembers the same thing. You were one of the few people there that was actually nice to the open micers.
Really? I could give you a lot of open micers that would tell you a different story, but that's nice. Probably because I saw you guys and you did well.
Okay, then that might have been it. But I just remember you, because you weren't overly, you weren't super,
nice.
Yeah,
kind of cunty.
But you were, and there's definite rules at the Comedy Store. And I remember you told me one time that I wasn't allowed to write in the OR. Yeah, you were like, you're not allowed to write in here. But I remember you telling me in a nice way, where a lot of people at that time, especially at the Comedy Store, would be more like, hey, put your fucking shit away. You know what I mean? Like that.
But maybe like the early days, or I guess the mid 90s, because I started at 93 at the store. So I guess like in the middle, Mitzi would come in a lot, of course. But I would work the potluck, open mic night, and I would, like, the comics would just go sit in anywhere, and I'd be like, fuckers, and I treat them like cattle and push them to the back, but you know where to sit. And sometimes I try to make a joke out of it and make them laugh, but some of them were real dicks.
Yeah.
And some of them I was just like, get the fuck in the back, or you're outside, whatever. So I was kind of cunty, but the problem is I couldn't have Mitzi. If she came in the showroom and she saw those people sitting there, I'd have to make them buy drinks. So it was either sit back there, or you're gonna pay for drinks. And you don't want to buy drinks at the Comedy Store. No. You can buy drinks at the fucking Ha-Ha. But the Comedy Store, they were shit. When I was waiting tables, it was $6 for a beer.
Yeah.
So it's probably $90 now.
Yeah, it is ridiculous too.
So I don't know how people survived. I remember looking at the prices going, I have to say this was a straight face. Because I came from Philly, South Philly, and you go to a bar, you drink all night for $30. Yeah. We do corner bars. I don't know what the fucking Sunset Strip has up their ass, but they're charging $5.75 for a Heineken.
Yes,
that's frightening.
Same with Arizona. It's very inexpensive to drink. So when I first came here, it was like, wow, these drinks.
And there's no fucking
ridiculous.
Ride to go with this.
Then I started making a bit more money, and I was like, I'll take shots.
Well, we even have comic prices. So Mitzi knew the comics were broke, and she made a rule that a lot of times she used to give the liquor away, and then we hit real hard times, so we came up with comic prices. But for years, Mitzi would give the liquor away.
What was the hard times about?
Hard times in that just nobody was coming there. And to be honest, a lot of it had to do with not wanting to change at all.
Yeah.
Mitzi had her way. This is what it was. This is what it is. Her ego was being hurt in that she wasn't the queen bee as much anymore. I'd say toward the later 90s, like 97, 98, like that. It started to feel really
yeah.
But in the beginning,
and that was right after the Def Jam and all that, or was
Def Jam was already out because Def Jam started in 90, and the reason I'll tell you I know that is because I slept with the guy who started it. So no, he didn't start it. But my first ex-fiance, I have a couple of those. He was a booking agent, and he was working at William Morris. He worked in the mailroom at first. His brother's a big entertainment lawyer, so he got him a job in the mailroom. And he worked his way up, and he was working for a big booking agent. And so he got to meet all these comics. And my ex, his name's Billy, he loved comedy. That was his passion. So he was working in the comedy world, and he was just, whoever made him laugh was who he loved. But he was just an assistant at the time. So the guy, I guess after a while, started letting Billy take on some clients. And Billy's favorite clients at the time were these black clients. And the guy was like, there's no money out there for blacks. Knock it off. And he got pissed off. He's like, you're wasting your time. And of course, he dropped a lot of N-bombs. And he was like, you're wasting your time with these people. They're nothing, blah, blah, blah. Go where the real money is. And Billy got mad and talked back to him. And then he got fired. Mm-hmm. So he was like, he called all his clients that he was talking to. And he's like, look, this guy freaked out. So I'm going to go start my own business. Do you guys want to come with me? And they did. And they were Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence, Adele Givens, Joe Torre, Tommy Davidson, and this guy who had an idea for a black comedy show on HBO called Russell Simmons. He also had Monteria Ivy, who did the Yo Mama jokes. And so he had all these clients. So he started booking them. He introduced Martin to the Sam Art Williams, who did the Martin show. He, worked with Chris Rock on the road, got him on the road forever to make him a huge comic. And
I heard that the first time Chris Rock went on the road was with Martin as his feature, and then he couldn't follow Martin, and it helped him a lot.
He couldn't follow Martin Lawrence?
That's what I had heard.
Martin was already headlining.
Originally, that's the way they went out. Maybe that's incorrect.
That. Yeah, because Chris was newer than Martin. Martin was already established. Okay. When, not super established, but a little bit ahead of him, if that makes sense. And he was already, because Martin got the Martin show. Yeah. And then became the host of Def Jam. So that was all around the same time, and Chris was the new kid on the block. Okay. If you will. So it wouldn't make sense that Chris. I'd have to ask Billy, but I'm almost positive. I don't remember.
Yeah, one of the comics had told me that, so I didn't know, and I didn't know the chronology of Martin.
I remember
and
Billy
Chris
getting
Rock.
Chris. Because Eddie Murphy brought Chris to William Morris and was like, gotta check this kid out, this kid, blah, blah, blah. And so they took him on as a favor to Eddie, but they weren't paying any attention to him. But Billy was, because he's like, wait, this guy's funny. But he wasn't like Chris yet. Yeah, yeah. And then he goes, you need to go on the road. You need to. And so he put him on the road, in the shit road, like the regular shit that's out there. And
like what I do now.
What we all do, yeah. But he did that for about a year and developed and became a really strong comic. And then he did a movie called CB4 that nobody likes to talk about. But,
I saw
pretty terrible.
Clips of it.
I have a hat.
Is it a beanie? Is it like
it's a fucking
Janet Jackson hat,
giant CB4 ghetto. So embarrassing.
Wear it to Runyon.
Yes. No, I don't. I don't ever wear it because it's going to be a collector's item, because that is a terrible movie. I love Chris, but that's a horrible movie. So I don't. Yeah, I don't remember that him ever. He may have gone out with Martin now, but not.
And what's it been like for you? Because here's the thing that I notice a lot, and it's starting to slow down quite a bit. But
I act.
Will you shut up?
It's sad.
You're so ridiculous. Your act is great. I just saw you last week at the fucking West Side.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Killing it. But what I was going to ask you about was, at the Comedy Store, you kind of run your own space all the time there. Like you have your own way of being there. Me? And you're one of the stronger personalities, and you get in with the guys. And what do you think of like the way that a lot of the newer girls coming up are always complaining about?
Well, I mean, it is 1,000 times harder as a woman, I guess. I gotta say it's a delicate subject, because again, I grew up around all boys, and I grew up constantly fighting, whether it was to make them let me play with them because I have to show that I'm good enough, or in the street fucking fighting, literally. And so it was a constant thing like that. So I was so ingrained that way from the second I stepped into the Comedy Store as a waitress. I just always stood up for myself, kind of thing, or Sometimes I didn't even stand up for myself. It just, whatever, fuckers, let it go. I don't care. I just need to make money. Stay focused on, I guess that's my thing, is to stay focused on what's important to you, in that all I care about is killing on stage.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make friends. I already have friends. You know what I mean? If I make a new one along the way, great. If not, fuck it. I'm my biggest problem, I'm not a ass kiss. So I don't care how big of a comic you are or how little of a comic you are. I can't kiss your ass because you're onto something if I don't respect or believe. If you're a cool person, then you're a cool person. But I'm not one of those pussy grabbers, if you will.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, that's been one of my problems.
I remember getting a compliment from a comic that he goes, why you treat us all the same? And I was like, yeah, you're all the same. You're all comics. You know what I mean? Like, you're all fucking nuts. And now that coming in as a comic, and again, this is what I want to say for the girls coming up. I do have a little bit of a leverage at the store, especially because I grew up there, kind of like waiting tables there when I wasn't doing stand-up. That was a long time. I met a lot of people. Shit, me and my ex went on the road to watch Chris do Bring the Pain. Like, I watched him develop that, whether he was at the store or we were at the in West Orange at the Rascals in Jersey, or the fucking Riviera that Steve Sharippa would book him at to do, work that out. We were everywhere watching him. So my knowledge of stand-up and stand-ups is ridiculous. And and I have relationships with mostly all of them, not just fucking them. Some of them I fucked, but not all of them. Just one. Anyway. Well, one, he doesn't count because he never got passed. So does that count? If you didn't get passed as a regular, sorry, Jace,
doesn't
but you
count.
know what I'm saying.
Doesn't count.
Anyway, yeah, that's like a lesbian experience at that point. But so I feel like at the store, that's my home. And when I go in there, I just work on my craft and I'm funny, and I don't get involved. You can't get involved with the drama. The young girls, I noticed, they try to like this guy or that girl or hang with this one, or some of them are like, oh, it'll be good if I sleep with him. No, that's not good. If you want to sleep with somebody, sleep with them.
Yeah.
But don't fucking hang on, Jack, because they don't care.
Yeah.
Most of them.
I tell people all the time, fuck people if you want to fuck them, but don't fuck them to get anywhere, because a lot of times you're not going to get where you're...
Not a lot of times.
Yeah, they don't...
Never the time.
Yeah, they don't follow through.
I'm going to tell you that when I was working at the store and I was in charge of the waitresses. I hate to say head waitress because I gave good head, and that's annoying. So Mitzi put me in charge of the waitresses, like to do the schedules and do all the hiring, because she got bored with it. And so that was my job. And I cannot tell you how many comics, big, medium, or small, came to me and said, I fucked this girl. She wants to be a comic, or I fucked this waitress, and now she wants to be a comic, and she's trying to get in my movie or my show or my this. You have to fire them. I don't want them here. Wow. And I'd have to.
Yeah.
Because it was called the Comedy Store, not the waitress store or not the fuck store. So they put the asses in the seats. They ran the show.
Yeah.
And Mitzi told me that from the get. She was like, I don't want the waitresses fucking the comics. And she didn't want it because she didn't want the drama.
Yeah.
The waitresses are the money makers in there, in that we sell the drinks. People come in to see the comics, but initially we get the fucking money out of them.
Yeah.
Because you comp, a lot of times they comp the door. Mitzi wasn't a big comper, but this is where that back to that subject, the dead years, is because she wouldn't change with the time, We should have been comping more people. We should have been being more industry friendly. She wanted the industry out. As she would say, like me and Duncan Trussell were talking about this a couple months ago, that I don't want people coming in and stealing my jams and jellies. Those were her comics. Because when the industry would come in, they would take the comic, develop a show around them, and then the comic would leave her.
Yeah.
She wanted to do that. She was trying to do that. But she was failing miserably. Like, she was way ahead of her time. She has shows with dice in them, and Irera, and like old school Charlie Fleischer, like what's the one I love, Lois Bromfield. Great shows with all these female comics that she absolutely adored. Carrie Snow, Tamayo Otsuki. That was like way early.
Yeah.
Like early 80s, I think. Mid 80s, maybe? I forget. But Mitzi she would write little shorts and film them. Almost like Vine shit now.
Yeah, I've seen them running on the monitors before.
they show.
Where they,
She used to force us to show, and we'd be like, we shouldn't do that. But okay. It's funny. I mean, she had what she was trying to do, but she was trying to capitalize on what she was growing, kind of.
Yeah.
But she didn't have the connections to do that anymore, and so we weren't allowed to get, like, just say if APA called up and said, "Can I get the lineups for the week?" We'd say, "No. You have to come here," and she'd charge them to come in, and she'd charge. So people, they spread the word. Fuck the Comedy Store. Comedy Store's dark. Comedy Store's this. Comedy Store's that. And it got slower and slower and slower. I mean,
And
there
then
was
it
one
became
time.
all of those things.
Yeah.
Because by the time I got there, it was dark, and it
dark.
was in a different place now, completely different.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it turned around, but it only because, and I say this with no disrespect to Mitzi, but it was allowed to change. Mm-hmm. And it has now changed. Some of the changes I don't want to say I necessarily agree with, but then at the same time, it keeps the building open.
That's what I told somebody not too long ago. I was like, we could have kept the Comedy Store as a clubhouse for another couple years, or we could possibly have it as a business forever.
Yeah.
So I would rather see a lot of the, because for a while, even in my opinion, for a while it got a little too loose there.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's like,
sometimes you're like, hey, okay,
There's no rules, and you don't belong back here. And it's not to be mean, but you just don't belong back here. Like, this is an area where it's either regulars or there are different people that have different relationships with the Comedy Store. You're not one of those people. So you stay out there. But for a minute there, that boundary was gone.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, now we just have random people just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those floodgates. But then again, that would be me as a waitress going, you ain't allowed back here.
Yeah. Well,
here comes Cunty.
I got into it with somebody, and when we were in the back in Sacred Ground.
Oh, yeah.
And I got into it with somebody.
Funny they call it Sacred Ground. Dice always called it the office. That was his office. That's where he would hide out.
It makes so much sense. Yeah, and that's where everybody goes to hide out. And there was one day where I got into it with a guy, and I was like, yeah, you don't belong back here. And then he tried to keep going, and I was like, no, I know you don't belong back here because technically I don't belong back here.
No, you're one of us. I don't care what they say.
Thanks. Everybody treats me that way at the store.
Yes,
Nobody's ever told me, but I will remind people just so they know. I know you don't belong back here because I don't belong back here, so.
You for show shit don't belong back here.
Time for you to go.
Yeah, there's some nights I'll go back that honestly, and like again, I love that they have that spot to go hang out and do what you do, and it keeps us all safe, kind of in a sick way, and it's always been there. That little sick, like we always call it, the land of misfit toys. Like Steve Simone, that's one he's known for, the land of misfit toys, because that's what we are. We're all fucked up. We all come from different crazy backgrounds.
Yeah.
None of us should ever be together, and we are. And it just happens. I don't know why or how, and it works.
Yeah, I run back there to hide, and I tell people all the time, if I have to if I'm there at the store for a set, and I don't feel like talking to a lot of the, newer people or dealing with, because, it is sunset. So sometimes you get like the party people that are just hanging out. And so I'll run back there, and I'll run all the way to like that back corner. And I'll just tell all the comics while I'm walking through, I just want to hide and not see anybody. And everybody's always like, come on.
Yeah, just come right here. There's like little things I miss. Like we used to have those couches in the back and in the kitchen. And they were Mitzi's couches. They were little gray couches. And she would sit on one side so she could look at herself in the mirror. That was weird. But she, like, we'd have meetings and I'd be like, is this bitch looking in the mirror? I'm going to fuck her up. But
Right near the zero sign?
yes.
Yeah,
right
I
under
remember
it.
when,
yeah.
yeah.
So we would sit there. And of course, the waitresses would check out back there. I mean, now they have to do it in the office because there's too much traffic.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing. Again, that's a good thing. But I miss those little couches because when I first started doing stand-up, they were still there. And I would come in and sit back there and write because I knew I could hide in the kitchen.
You just reminded me of the couches. I had forgotten about the
I miss
couches,
those
but yeah, I used
Every
to sit in the
time I go
couches
back there, I go,
too.
motherfucker. And even my makeup couch, which I always called it, because I was always late and I'm very black. And I would get to the store and I wouldn't have any makeup. And my mom was like, you got to stop doing that. You can't go to work like that, honey. You're not going to make any money. I go, Mom, they're going to feel bad for me that I look like I have Down syndrome. So
You're so
It'll be
ridiculous.
fine.
And you know this is LA. Nobody feels bad for anybody for looking bad. They're always like, ew, why, yeah, why would you do that?
what the fuck? How'd you get a job here, bitch? Like, so, I mean, so, it was bad. Like, back then, because I was doing acting classes or rehearsals for plays or whatever. So I would really show up sometimes with my hair soaking wet, in a knot, curly, let my African roots really come out. And my big curls would be all over the place. And Mitzi would be like, fix that. All right. Lauren, my friend Lauren that I used to work with used to call me the Lion King because it was so big.
Mitzi, you and Mitzi were actually close.
Yeah, very as close as you could be to Mitzi.
That's what I was
Like,
going to
I
ask
always
you. Was
say
she
that
ever
about-
really, really nice?
To me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, amazing. I did a lot of I was her personal assistant. What happened was I was doing every job. She kept firing everyone. So I believe I've done every job in the Comedy Store, including being a janitor at some point. I've had to unclog quite a few toilets in there. So
That's where
she
I
was,
see you.
she had this
That's
big,
where I see you.
Yeah. Just plunging away, man.
You don't even work there and you still do
No,
it.
I do. I do it in fucking rest stops on the road. I'm a dick. I have literally been in Barstow in the middle of the night, plunging a fucking toilet like a dick. And I'm like, and I'll walk out of there after I boil my hands, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you cleaning?
Just unclogging random toilets.
And as I'm like leaving the AM PM, they're like, thank you. Motherfucker saw me do it, like I get pissed off. But anyway, so yeah, I have this. So I was doing everything. I was like before she fired Scott Day, who was the talent coordinator. When I first started there, he was there. Great guy. I was his assistant for a little bit because he had an alcohol problem and he would call out every Monday. So we had to do all his work. So then I start doing just little jobs. And then after a while, it got to, okay, just come to my house. And then I'd be at the house day in and day out. And I was like, fuck, I can't do this. Like, this is dark. This is bad. And sometimes it was fun, but sometimes it was sad, because she was getting sick. Her health was declining.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as fun anymore. And then she'd freak out and make me fire people. I feel bad, So it was little things like that. She hired me also. She said she wanted to have me help her write a book. And I was like, I can barely read, but okay. But it was a coffee table book she wanted to do for the dunes in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
So she wanted to put all these pictures together. And I thought, all right, pictures, pop up. I could do that. Not a lot of writing. And so I was organizing stuff like that at her house with her. And then that was a fucking nightmare. But speaking of people going to sacred ground that don't belong, comics would randomly stop by her house and decide to tell her things like, I'm better than so-and-so. I should be getting their spots. And no, not a good idea. So I watched her unpass a lot of people
Really?
as well. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know unpassing happened.
It just did.
Would they black their name out of the wall, or did they just...
No, she didn't do that. Only she would just not give them spots.
Yeah, they were just
and,
done.
There was one who was persistent, and I believe he showcased. And Rick Ingram told this story because I knew she did it. I didn't know she did it to his face. I knew she did it like I'd have to write that in a memo to the talent coordinator.
Yeah.
Did that person ever find out? No. But they just all of a sudden disappeared or complained or, whatever. Would stop by at her house randomly, like crazy shit. And so she, this one guy, he pushed and pushed. He's like, I should be getting better spots. So she goes, okay, you'll have to re-showcase. She felt bad, Jewish kid. I forget. I think he was from Arizona. And he re-showcased and he bombed so bad. So, like, hard.
Yeah.
And she, okay, you're on path. And it's just, the thing is, like, if you push her against the wall, she doesn't like confrontation, but if you come at her, she's going to tell you. So don't do it. All I can say is don't.
So great.
God
okay, you're on
her.
fast. Okay, you're not.
Like these people took her for such granted. But if she loved you and you were in. I mean, I've done crazy shit with Mitzi where I can't even talk about, but weird shit. And, we had some fun times, but it was also some scary times because there were times when her sickness was real bad and Paulie was on the road or something and he called me. He's like, hey, dude, you got to go help my mom. She called the ambulance on herself. I'm like, what? So she was in Cedar Sinai. I had to go get her, get the keys to her house, take her back. And this is a weird thing because I didn't have keys to her place, but the Comedy Store always had keys to her place. So I was like, fuck, I got to go to the store. So I pick her up at Cedars, get her in the car. She has just a top on, class act, all mitts, and big wobbling tits. So I got to go to the store, but it's a fucking Sunday. So everybody's out there for potluck. And I have who they're waiting for approval from.
Yeah.
In the seat next to me, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I didn't know, I would never let anybody see her like that.
Yeah.
I would have covered her in a fucking trash bag before I let. And I was like, fuck, but she was so sick. She didn't know what was happening to her.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. And so she was undiagnosed or self-diagnosing something that was undiagnosed. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, bitch, you can't keep doing this. But we couldn't, she was hard-headed.
Yeah.
So I go and I get the keys and I'm like, fuck, somebody has to cause a distraction. There's so many fucking potluckers. I just remember so many fucking, because driving in was fine because they see me.
Yeah.
Driving out is all her. And I was like, fuck. And so I had the manager walk beside the car with us outside just because I felt like I would protect her, anything, because she did it for me. Even though she tried to have me arrested once, that's another story. But she, it was that same day actually, because I had to go back to work, so I took her home, tucked her in, everything. And then she had a nightmare, but she was suffering from dementia. So in her mind, the last person she saw was me.
Yeah.
So it was, I did this to her. So she told Paulie I did it, and Paulie was traveling, so it wasn't immediate getting back to her. By that point, she had already called the cops to go to my apartment. Anyway, I wasn't home, but I was at the store.
Yeah.
And Paulie was like, what is happening? And when he landed, poor thing, he's all fucking stressed out. And then I told him what happened, and so he had to go and fix it. But it was like not an easy thing, that fucking dementia is a bitch, boy. And she would create all kinds of shit in her head.
Yeah. Do you ever get to talk to her anymore?
I go see her, and she sometimes the last time I went to see her, me and Cynthia Levin went, and I like to take people that she knows from a certain time.
Yeah. And
so, like, I've also taken Holtzman. She lights up when I bring Holtzman. She almost fell out of the seat. She probably got wet. Very excited. She loved Holtzman because anybody funny, that was her shit. Just genuinely fucking funny. that didn't have any problem yelling at her. Honestly, not yelling.
Yeah.
Like
but,
being like, was that it? Was that good enough?
Yeah.
Did that work for you? Am I passed yet? That kind of person would make her piss herself. And even though Holtzman would say that to her on a regular basis, is that good enough? She'd go, not yet. Right back at him. And he'd be like, fuck. But he kept coming back because everybody likes abuse. And so she lit up when he came. But with Cynthia and I, that was more recent. And she lit up again, like, oh, good. Because this goes back to a time when she had the girls of the Comedy Store, and that was her baby. And she took the girls of the Comedy Store to La Jolla or did a big show in the main room, And these were her girls. And it was like Sherry Shepard, Kim Tavares, Cynthia Levin, like Paula Bell, I think was she might have been at the tail end of it, but kind of on that level, And so she got all excited when she saw Cynthia, and she even started like talking to us, but the sentences are unclear.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I don't know. And the scared little girl who was her assistant, when she said something, I didn't understand it. And you never made Mitzi repeat herself or you'd lose your fucking job. So in my head, I was like, I can't make her repeat. The fuck did you say, bitch? But I was so scared to make her repeat it. So, and I leaned in, I remember being like, what was that? And she, yeah. And I was like, fuck. And then I was telling somebody that she did this, somebody else that was pretty close to her. And she goes, she was probably saying goodbye. That was really Mitzi, like, get out, bye.
Mark Mealy was Mitzi's assistant for a day, right?
Did he get a day? I know.
He got a day.
I love Mark Mealy.
He got a day, and he fucked up.
What did he do? Because how did he fuck up? Because
he wasn't sure. Like, it was one of those situations where you're at an intersection, you're approaching an intersection, and you're not sure if you should stop or keep going. And he decided that
you should keep going.
He decided stop was the decision. And it made Mitzi jerk forward a little bit. And he said that the look she gave him afterwards, he was like, I'm not coming back. I know that I'm done. This is done. And sure enough, the next day he was told, like, you don't need to come in today.
That fucking stare. And it would go through you, Ty. Let me tell you. Where you're just like, oh, let me sit up for this. Wait, one time, Freddie Soto, he was her assistant too. He was driving her around and somebody hit the car. Or he backed into somebody. He was at fault. And Mitzi was like, okay, just go around them. And Freddie's like, no, I hit them. Too bad. Go around them. And Freddie's like, are you fucking crazy? I'm a fucking Mexican-American. Everybody thinks I'm an illegal. Like, no, I'm not. And she, just do it. And Freddie said he backed up and fucking went. He left the scene of a crime. He's like, why am I doing crime with this woman? I'll do anything for
Mitzi's
spots.
on a crime wave.
Fuck. She's crazy. Are we long? I'm sorry.
Oh. No, actually, we're. I just like to make sure that
I get off on rants. Sorry.
No, it's been a great conversation.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I haven't. I just look to make sure where it's at, because later on, people are gonna listen.
Yay.
Hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah, it's really. I love doing the podcast because I love talking shit. I love telling stupid stories. And it's good practice, like just to fucking.
Your
mesh
guys'
with
is
people.
the original. Is it just called the Comedy Store Podcast?
Just the Comedy Store Podcast. And in the beginning, Rick Ingram, my co-host, was doing it, and it was his podcast. They asked him, I believe Tommy asked him to start doing a podcast for the store. So I thought, oh, that's a great idea, And I didn't even think, join, dumbass. It's your life, you idiot. But I didn't. And I think Rick interviewed me. I was like one of the first or second ones on there. And it was like me, Argus Hamilton. They were like, let's get the elderlies in first. And so, yeah, it was all this crazy shit. And we had so much fun, me and Rick, just talking. And then I didn't even think of it. I started doing another podcast with my friend Lexi Shoemaker called The First Five. And then she got a real job in production. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, I
And
like Lexi a lot, but I haven't seen her in forever.
No, she don't do stand up anymore. She's production. She's trying to make things so she can put us in them, which is great, but not as easy as she thought. None of us, we all think,
it's all.
If I get a job, we're all getting a job.
Stand up was going to take me 4 months.
Stanhope?
Stand up.
Oh, stand up.
Stand up.
Oh, sure.
It was going to be when I first started doing it. I was like, as soon as I get to LA, I just need 4 months and I'll have it figured out. And here we are 13 years later.
Please take my life. Honestly, here we are.
Yeah, but
I'm 10 years this month doing stand up. 12 years as a waitress, 1 year doing nothing. You do the math.
Yeah.
I'll kill myself after this set. So, yeah, so it's fucking crazy. But that's what we do. We lie to ourselves and say, yeah, it's only going to take a minute. And then when Lexi couldn't do the podcast anymore, I thought, fuck, why don't I do the podcast with Rick? So I asked Adam, I asked everybody, I went through the proper channels, and then I asked Rick, and Rick was like, fuck yeah, if you can get people. He had been doing it for like 2 years, and he had like 10 podcasts.
Yeah.
But that's Rick. He don't want to bother nobody. Again, he goes to the store and he focuses on just doing well on stage.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who your friends are, what your friend. Just do well on stage.
It's the dumbest thing you can do.
It's just work on your craft and stay focused.
It's the dumbest thing you can do is work on your craft and stay focused.
So dumb.
Because you look around and it's always the networkers that seem to get, and it's like you don't.
You mean only? Yeah, they're the only ones that work. We don't work.
Yeah.
I'm destroying at 1 a.m. and no one. I'm kidding. It's hilarious.
no one's
is there
watching.
to see it. Yeah.
No one cares. No one is watching.
This guy said to me, "You're awesome. How come you don't go on earlier?" I go, "Oh, honey, that's when they're open. They don't let me up there then." Right when they're closing.
But aren't you sweet? Aren't you sweet?
Aren't you sweet for thinking out loud, huh? How'd you hear me over the vacuum? That was weird, huh? Fuck. Cocksuckers.
Yeah, because they vacuum at the Comedy Store, you guys.
Yeah. Well, Juan Carlos does. I love him. But yeah, my thing is like, those spots though, those fucking 1 a.m.ers, they're my favorite. Unfortunately, no one sees me, and they're my fucking favorite spots.
I can't wait to get past and do those spots. That's really what I want. I really do. Like, I don't have a problem with going up super late and when nobody's there. And I've been around there for long enough now that I've seen it. So it's not like, you have no idea what you're in for. It's like, no, I've seen it. And then also now maybe I don't hang out the same way, but they used to occasionally have leeway where the host would be able to throw one of us up that just hung out,
Oh, but there's so many regulars that aren't getting spots now. See, that was the other thing. Everybody said, oh, once Tommy leaves, I'll get in. All right. So now Tommy left, and now you're not in. So stop talking shit and just focus on your craft.
Yeah.
So, and stop worrying about being passed at the store. It means nothing. Technically, all that matters, get your stage time so that when you do have the chance to get that, you're prepared. Opportunity meets preparation every goddamn time. So when you get that chance to showcase, you go right through and you're not jerking off, But if you're just hanging around, not going up and not doing what you need to do, whether it's there or 5,000 other places, then yeah. But what happened is now there's a lot of people that aren't getting spots. So on Mondays, the regulars show up and sign up, and sometimes there's like 20 of them.
Okay.
So that last spot, every spot is being filled. It used to be a little more.
Yeah, there would be like a gap,
out.
And so they'd be like, hey, Ty, can you do a set?
There would be like because Rocco Stowe used to stay late too to go. Or he'd stop back after going to other places and be like, oh, maybe I can sneak up a late night on Monday, and he'd get up. But now it's not like that. Now it's like, I think last Sunday I went up at 1:13, and there was still 4 comics after me.
Yeah.
And that's fucking crazy. But it's all because they're just trying to get the spot, any spots.
Yeah.
So, if I was getting more spots, I probably wouldn't come in on Mondays. In that I go other places and try other whatever. But it's just that workout. That room is such a workout.
I know.
It's almost good to get your feet cut off.
Well, that's why I always go for Monday for potluck. You know,
'cause they put you on the good spots.
Yeah, they have me friends and family, and I gotta say, most of the times the guys get me on, and it happens so often for me that when on the rare occasion when they can't get me on, I have no hard feelings and I don't feel like anybody's wasted my time. It's just like, yeah, sometimes you're just not gonna get up like that, but most of the time
and
they take care of me.
Kill.
Thank you. Yeah,
I've seen you kill.
but there's no other room like it, you know. So I'm like, yes, I have to stay in practice in this room.
Yep.
So if I have to come on Monday and sit for 3 hours, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you will definitely. I mean, you should definitely fucking showcase. I don't know. I know you're always busy and on the road, and you work, and that's why it is secondary, and it should be, because more importantly, you're working. You're on the road. You do spots everywhere, and you fucking headline all across the country. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you a better or worse comic.
Yeah.
Get in there, you know?
Yeah, for me, it's just that, you know, when I first got to town, I looked at that wall and I was like, I want my name on that wall.
I get
but
it.
But like at the same
your name's
time.
gonna be so big because it's short.
Yeah, so they do that. Yeah, I know they do the bigger.
And I love that. So
yeah.
that's good.
And it's not something I obsess about, and I will, like, you know, try to be more proactive. But at the same time, I'm not one of those people that feels like, because my friend Jeff Carasalis, he's always asking me, he's like, so what's the process for them showcasing you? Why haven't they showcased you? And like, he asks these questions all the time. And I don't really mind because I know that he means it in a nice way, you know, like he just thinks that I should be a regular there. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, I'm not really stressed about that. Like, you know, it'll happen when it happens, and I have faith. And
Good
also,
for you.
like me and Adam, you know, we don't talk a lot, but we have a decent relationship.
Exactly.
So it's not like, you know, it's not like there's any reason that I wouldn't. It's just like, you know, I just got to wait my turn for right now. And eventually it'll get to a point, or maybe they'll showcase me first, but where I'll feel like, okay, maybe this is something I should at least ask about. Yeah. But for right now, I feel pretty like, you know, okay,
I remember one time it was something you wrote, it was somebody you were bashing, and I was so happy about it. And I won't bring up specifically who and what, but it was fucking incredible. And you schooled this person in a way that made me wet and everybody else happier. And I was like, yes. So I secretly showed it to Adam, and he goes, I knew there was a reason I love that guy. Because we laughed so hard at that. And it was just this fucking group of jackals that you just shut down.
Thank you.
And I was like, yes, Ty. There should be a backup group for you. Yes, Ty.
Maybe I'll use the Black Girl Choir from Roast Battle. They've recently adopted the Black Girl Choir.
Have they done that? That's Heath Heich's bit.
Yeah, it's Jill, Chrissy.
It's literally them. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Heath Heich, do you know who that is? He's a comic and he was a prop act, and he was fucking brilliant to watch. But he'd literally come out as a white gospel guy, and he had this thing that hooked on his back, and it was all these black women in robes, and he would, come on, y'all. And it was so stupid that this white guy has all these black. Oh, it was one of my favorite fucking bits.
People loved it?
Yeah, I thought you meant they had that big prop.
Oh, no.
And I was like, Heath left that here? Is he
No.
crazy?
Jill, Chrissy, John A. Thompson, and Jasmine Lee.
Okay.
Are the Black Girl Choir during, and it might be something other than the Black Girl Choir, but I think it is the Black Girl Choir.
Well, that works for me. I like that.
It works for all of us as far as, especially Roast Battle, you know, but it's been 2 weeks now that they've been doing it.
Oh, good.
So
good.
it's, you know, it seems like a fun situation. Where can people see you, Eleanor?
In my apartment. No, I like agoraphobic, psycho. Where can they see me? I'm at the Comedy Store. When does this come out?
Do you have your website?
I do have a website, Eleanor J. Kerrigan. I'm really good at social media, guys, so you should get on that.
Get on Eleanor's social media.
Kidding. I'm terrible. I have a picture on my phone that I still haven't tweeted for Flashback Friday. I'll probably put it up on fucking Saturday.
You have time. I'm
not good at this, Ty. I'll forget.
We'll do it before you leave.
And then where So yeah, when does this come
It
out?
comes out Monday.
Oh, Monday. Okay. So you'll miss all my spots this weekend. Thanks. I'm kidding. Whenever, yeah, at the Comedy Store or on the road or flopping around wherever.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything specific to promote right
I
now.
almost said Ella Gay.
Ella Gay is
Ella
my middle name.
Gay.
Hello.
EleanorJCarrigan.com is where you guys want to check out Eleanor. And you guys can find me at americasfavoritefag.com.
Is that really your thing?
I have
Kill it.
TyRivera.com and americasfavoritefag.com, and they both go to the same place.
Up the ass. Wait a minute.
Basically, yeah.
Same. All right.
Well, thank you for listening, Botherinas, and please check out Eleanor J. Carrigan. I will post links for her social media as soon as I upload this. Thanks for listening, everybody, and thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.